every day of my life I ball.
So season 5, Fix My Life, is back March 3rd. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, this season everything is really about family. Every show deals with some breakdown in the family, but then we get to do a lot of social commentary in the process. We're looking at the presence of the Ku Klux Klan in the 21st century.
Yes.
We're looking at colorism among black women. We're looking at the failures of the foster care system. We're looking at, I think that's it. But all in the context of the family breakdown, we get an opportunity to also look at some social issues.
So this is my question. How do you love another person back to life after they have suffered from the abuse, the trauma, and being told that they're not worthy of being loved, or you'll never be anything, or you'll be just like your dad who was a crackhead, or your mother who was a prostitute? How can we love a person like this back to life?
You can't. You can't. They have to love themselves back to life, and then you get to support the choice that they make for themselves. And that's what happens on Fix My Life. People think I do the work. I don't really do the work. What I do is I get a statement from the guests about what is it that they want. What do they see for themselves? And whatever they see, I see it with them and for them, and then support them in identifying what's between them and it. That's all I do. I listen, I ask questions, and I point out, this is what's standing between you and what you say you want. And sometimes they get a little resistant or a little afraid. But until the guest or anybody has the vision for themselves, there's really nothing you can do.
Now, the show is called Fix My Life.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a problem or issue on the show that just could not be fixed?
Oh, this season was the first season where I had to actually say to a guest, I can't help you. I can't help you, so you'll see that. It'll be interesting.
So what is your guiding light? Because you go into some really deep and dark places to really bring healing, to bring some deliverance, to shine light on these issues. How do you find that space mentally? And I think even beyond that, being able to go home and just leave these issues, at the door, where you can go in and you can find that peace after dealing with the types of situations that you deal with on the show.
They're common. They're common everyday issues. The reason that we do them on Fix My Life is to create and invite conversation.
Yes.
We don't deal with anything on Fix My Life that you don't know somebody's going through or that somebody hasn't been through, that I haven't been through. So I'm not looking at it as the guest, as like freaks of nature. They are dealing with, whether they're public people or private people, they're dealing with one of the 12 common stories in human life. We do public people because we want the private people to understand, doesn't matter how successful you are, Memphis, how much money you got, Hazel E., how big you are in the world, Trina Braxton. People have problems, and we all have to deal with them the same way.
Let's talk about colorism.
Yeah.
You dealt with that on this upcoming season. I want to talk about colorism, especially amongst women, amongst African American women. What effect have you seen personally, or have you witnessed between women and colorism from your experiences growing up, even beyond the show?
Well, first of all, it's a learned behavior. It's a genetic memory. It's in our DNA. It's cellular, and then it is promoted in the country. Until very recently, it's promoted in our society, that lighter women get more recognition, that the darker women are seen as not as attractive. I mean, still today, if you go through your average magazine, the percentage of dark-hued women to light-hued women is very different. So it's a learned behavior, and until we as women deal with it among ourselves, the country is going to, or society will continue to promote it. Now, in the case of Hazel E., everyone got very upset about what she said about big butt, monkey butt, dark-skinned women, of which I'm one. because to Hazel, I'm dark. But people never look at the origins of that. And so in our work with her, my work with her, I was able to look at the origins of it. And I think people are going to be very, very surprised. Very, very surprised. For her, it really wasn't even about color. It was a whole nother issue. So as women, we need to really get to what that's about. See, you and I are in a place where we're not light, we're not dark, so we get ignored. And very often, I think that's worse. You know, we're not considered light skinned, we're not considered dark skinned, so we're just black. So I've been just black all my life. Yeah, but then people don't recognize, because they see me as black, that I'm part Native American, part Latin. So then I just get lumped into there. And then when I want to speak to the issues of Native women and Latin women, people are looking at me like, well, who are you? And even some of the people, the Latin people and the Native people. So it's a learned behavior.
So speaking of learned behaviors, let's talk about racism. Let's talk about the KKK. We see a little bit of this in the trailer for this upcoming season.
Memphis. Is that the name how you say it?
Yes, Memphis.
Okay.
Yes.
Memphis. Father was killed by a professed Ku Klux Klan member in the 21st century. We're not talking about 1956. We're not talking about 64. We're not talking about 77. We're talking about 2003. He was shot and dragged out someplace and burned. They never even received a body. They never received a body by a professed Ku Klux Klan member. And we want to walk around thinking that because now we do interracial relationships or we have a few corporate positions that racism doesn't exist. Wrong.
So what's the answer?
Tell the truth. I think that is what really keeps us stuck, is that we as a society, as a country, still are not willing to tell the truth about racism. When the occupant of the White House a few weeks ago called the motherland, Africa, and Haiti, I gotta say a bad word, shithole countries, we should have shut this puppy down. Because when you let people get away with little things like that, they grow into big things. That's how, like, when your partner pushes you, you let them get away with it. Then the next thing, they're choking you. Then you let them get away with it. And it's not until they beat your face to a pulp that you understand, oh my God, this is domestic violence.
Yes.
So when we let the occupant in the White House get away with saying that, you know, we let it be okay. But it's just like when we let corporate America or the recording industry or the public, whoever, get away with minimizing people of color. Until it's a big blown thing, we don't even know, we act like it doesn't exist. So what are we gonna do? I tell you, I made a real joke. I called my my cellular carrier and I said to them, I want to increase my international plan to include shithole. And they said, excuse me? I said, shithole. Got to be a place the president identified it. I want to include it in my long distance plan. They said, ma'am, we don't understand. Shithole. Wherever it is, I want to include that in my long distance plan. I had them on the phone for 7 minutes, made them totally crazy.
I bet. Wow.
But what would happen if we all did that? Called our long distance carrier and asked to include that place, because it has to exist, because the occupant of the White House identified it as such. So let's get it included in our long distance, in our international calling plan. And then let us all try to buy a first class ticket so we can go there.
So what are your words for, you know, we have the current president of the United States.
No.
You're not even
the
going to go there.
occupant of the White House.
The
There's an
occupant of the White House.
House.
If you could have a conversation, if you could bring the occupant of the White House on Fix My Life, what would that look like?
I have no clue, because my guests have to be willing. The guests on Fix My Life have to be willing. and they have to have an intention. I wouldn't want him there unless he was willing. And then I'd have to find out what he was willing to heal or change or be or do. And I don't see a willingness there. So here's the good news. He couldn't be a guest on Fix My Life. Here's the bad news. He couldn't be a guest on Fix My Life. No willingness. He's got to be willing. You know, for me, fix means to restore, to renew, to prepare for its original use, repair for its original use. I don't use fix to say anything is broken. Use fix to say something has gone off, something has gone awry. Nothing's bad, but in order to get back in alignment for your original purpose, we need to fix something. We need to repair, renew, restore something. So that's how I use fix. And the good news is that the guests do the work. I don't really do the work. I just bring them to another level of awareness. But action is on their part.
So from this season, what has been the most inspiring moment you have experienced?
The most inspiring okay. I do a 3-part episode with a family of young men, 7 brothers, all born to the same 2 parents. One is doing life in prison, and one is deceased. So the 5 who were left found each other in a group home. Didn't know they were brothers.
Wow.
Found each other in a group home and came to restore their relationship with each other and their parents. Unbelievable. These men, these beautiful young men who were failed by every level of our social system. Somebody got paid a check to abuse them. Somebody got paid even in the family to care for them. And to stay together, they ended up living in the winter in an abandoned car. And then would go out to steal to eat. The older ones would steal to feed the younger ones. So of course they ended up with a criminal record. Children. So that to me, the fact that they wanted to be together and that they stuck together and that they want to heal, that was very, and 5 African American men.
So what is your advice to African American men of this generation? What kind of advice, what kind of tools do they need to really be effective and to overcome the obstacles such as, the system and police brutality and all those things? What kind of tools, what are the best tools that we can give them to equip them?
Well, they need to come to my workshop. I do a men's workshop once a year, and it is in March this year. So they need to come to my workshop. That's number one. Because the level of healing, emotional and spiritual healing that they need, nobody's teaching it, And I happen to be, I'm not the only one, but I'm the one they're listening to right now. I've happened to have been taught and given and revealed to me cultural, ancestral, historical tools and processes that I think will help our young brothers. And I do 1 men's workshop a year. I really want to train men to do it for themselves, but they don't show up. They don't show up. They don't show up. I don't know what else to tell you. They don't show up. I have on my YouTube channel, every week I do a video on relationships called the R-Spot. Because nobody's taught us relationship tools. Our history is we were bred, we were sold, we were separated, we were undervalued and undermined. So I'm going back and giving people relationship tools. Every week, the majority of my comments are from women. Men don't, so they don't show up to do the work. They don't show up to get the healing. They don't even ask questions about what they need. So until they show up, I don't have no advice for them. Come to the workshop, watch the art spot, and ask questions. That's my advice.
So any final words about this upcoming season?
I am very proud of and happy about Baller Alert. I watch y'all, and to see all the little young correspondents and the questions and stuff, it's so refreshing to me. It's so exciting to me that y'all have taken what you've seen in the world that didn't represent you and do it in a way that represents you. I'm really, really proud of y'all. I'm so happy for you. You know, I think it's exciting. You and, you know, I won't mention the other outlets, but there's so many of y'all. So just to know that your elders are watching.
And we appreciate that. We appreciate that. We appreciate you. And we look forward to seeing the premiere of Fix My Life on March 3rd.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And come, men, show up. Do your work. Okay?
Show up. Show up.
Every day of my life I ball.